Hello.
Hi. I love how
Is
you're
it
all
just
lovely. Huh?
is it just me? I'm trying to let me look.
Nope. Sunny's on, Gladys is on. It's
I
just,
have to change my view. Yeah, it's cold here, so I'm like all snuggled in a blanket always.
I'm like all fiery and sweaty.
Are you? From what? What were you doing?
I, let's see. I installed a camera and finished my bathroom shelves and installed a code automatic lock on my door. I'm securitying my house. So,
So you
yeah,
feel safer?
my
Yeah.
son-in-law. So I remodeled my bathroom on a whim in between going up to Salt Lake. They left, and I felt this, emotion, and I sat with it for like 4 hours, and I let myself cry and grieve. And I was like, okay, now it's time to create something with this energy that's here because we have this big bubble of stuff. And so I went to Home Depot and I was like, you know what? The cabinet in my bathroom has driven me nuts since I bought my house 9 years ago because it was the 9-year anniversary this week. And I even had a lover who would always comment on it. And I was like, you know what? And those thoughts come in. Let's just clear this space. And the bathroom we use a million times a day. So I went and I bought a new vanity and countertop. And then I couldn't get it out of my truck because it was too heavy. So I left it, went and did my drum ceremony and my sessions in Salt Lake, came back, asked my brother if he would help me load it, and his whole family came over. They all came flooding to
Aw.
help Aunt Holly. And I was like, really, it's just two things, but cool. And so, and then I haven't been able to sleep. So I was like, well, we'll just do it at night. So it's all finished. And then, I was under construction, so I showered in my other bathroom. And then I had my travel supplies and toiletries, and I was like, I'll just use my travel ones. So I walk out into my living room. My son-in-law's there. I'm like, oh, I'm glad I'm wearing a towel. He's like, me too. He's like, you need to lock your doors. The back door is wide open for your studio. This is unlocked. Like, you're not safe. You need to be safe. And I'm like, "Ah, I don't believe in fear. So what can I do to create safety?" And so I got the automatic lock, so my door automatically will lock all day long. So he
Mm,
feels better because his love language is protection. So what I heard was, I'm not vulnerable enough.
right.
I hear you love me. And so I got that, and I got cameras with virtual feeds. So they'll have a feed to my house, and I'll have a feed. So that way everybody feels safer. So.
Nice.
But
I
it's
like
nice
that for
because
you.
for me, it just makes me feel like, oh, they love me. This will make them not have to worry about me because I don't want to cause any worry. I want them to
Yeah.
celebrate where they're at. And where they're at is so perfect for them. Like Gladys, they love Colorado City. They are over the moon. Like my daughter was chipper and happy. She got dressed because she normally doesn't get dressed and shower in her hair. And she did it all. And I was like, wow. And then my son-in-law was just so chipper. And even when I went to leave, when I went and saw them, Webba's was like, Nana, no. And I'm like, I gotta go, babe. Okay. And he goes back to playing. I was like, that's like never happened in the history of forever. You feel stable. Shit. Okay. This is good. This is good. But like they can see all the cars go by, and there's people doing wheelies all the time. There's a big park, and there's always people at the park. And so they do family gym time, and he straps the baby on and he's on the treadmill with Webba's bouncing on the ball. I'm like, that's like mom bait right there. That's what that is. Like, good thing he's my son-in-law because, my ovaries feel that. So yeah,
Are
they're really
they
good. They're really happy. They're so happy. And so I'm like, okay, we're just gonna embrace this new space. And Spirit has been pulling me to create more space, to create more and expand. And so we're just trusting. And then I'll be gone to Guatemala for 2 weeks. So I will be quiet because a lot of the places don't have any type of reception or good Wi-Fi. And we're gonna be on the road. So yeah, so we're gonna go process that with my two sisters, and yeah, it'll be good. So, yeah. So yeah, that's why I'm all hot because I'm like working with machinery and getting things to work. So, or it's the energy because you guys were popping in. Probably both. My cheeks are already red. So,
Well, I'm happy for you. I think that's awesome. I just found a picture I just happened on it, and I'm kind of feeling the same way. I have 2 weeks off of work. I don't go back till January 5th from my, what does Rick call it? My mogul job? No,
Muggle job. Yep.
muggle job.
Muggle
But I
job.
love working with my students too. But what I really want to be doing is, so I'll be seeing clients, but I saw something about, I think I'm going to repaint my back bedroom and redecorate it. It's like you put the panel pieces up. So it's like the squares, and then it's like a charcoal black.
Ooh.
I know. And then it's got some gold, but I might just do like a darker blue. I'm not sure about the black. You got to get the right black, but it's really pretty. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll redo my back. So maybe it's a creative time, right?
Hmm.
I'll do the
Well,
back bedroom.
I have this area in my house I painted black, but it's actually a dark blue. It's really beautiful because it has depth. And in art, like a lot of the paintings I do, I don't ever use black. I actually use this really dark blue, and it gives it more depth to it than being flat. So you can
Yeah.
kind of look at like that dark, but if I can find that color name, I'll send it to you.
Okay. Thank you.
So it was funny because Rick and I have our weekly meeting. We had it this morning, and I showed him my bathroom, and it's the exact same color as his office. I didn't even realize. I was like, "Oh, so you love this color?" So I'm like, "Well, this is just prepping us for one day when we live together, when we're retired and old, and at the end of our life." So I'm like, "Oh, we'll like our colors."
There you go.
But there is definitely a call to like reset your space. I mean, we've all been feeling it for a few months now and just that reclaiming. And my son-in-law's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "This is how I process my emotions." So you're welcome. Your son will learn to build stuff when he's feeling emotional. So, yeah. So, well, let's start with you, Rowena. So you had some foot zones and it seemed like there was a lot of activity this week.
Um, there was. I did a couple more clearings this week. And I did a foot zone earlier, but I did a clearing last night that I am gonna say it was an amazing session. And then to watch, like I have foot zone this client quite a bit. Like she usually comes in once a month, and she just had a health scare. She has a sister who has breast cancer, an aunt. Like there's like four females going back in her generation that have had breast cancer, and she just had a little bit of a scare, and she has a tendency to spiral. So her thing is avoidance. I just don't want to think about it, and then I don't have to deal with it. But it's like a pretty serious thing because her sister was 35. So anyhow, I was able to tap in and find the perspective. Even though I know her well, I already was kind of tapping in, and I had an idea what was going to come up. So I was able to find the negative perspective. The emotion was avoidance, which at first I was like, I'm not sure about that. Uh, it was a fear one, is what the perspective was. And I was like, I don't know about that. And so I was going to double check myself, and I read it, and she's like, no, that's exactly it. Like she was just like, this is so spot on. And it was ancestral. She recognized it from both her dad's side and her mom's side way of thinking, being, and things like that. And then the breast came up for it being ancestral, and and so we talked about it. Everything was spot on. It was amazing. Her clearing was really good,
Mhm.
and I just reminded her that that is ancestral healing. So if healing that part of it, especially with the breast issues and things like that. She was really thankful, and she just really got a lot out of it. She's like, this is going to be healing for my granddaughters coming up. She has three sons. I
Mm.
don't know. It was just really to see everything and how it just all kind of came together as we were talking to. Because remember, I was saying in the chat, it felt choppy. before, like it wasn't flowing. And I was like, well, it's because I foot sewn for 2.5 years and I'm the hands on and stuff like that. And this is just a different technique. But then it just really flowed. And I kind of saw how it all, I don't know, it just changed.
Mm, I love that. Well,
Anyhow.
and especially the breasts too represent the part of the body that gives and needs
Hmm.
support. I mean, think of Wonder Bras. The more
Right.
you give, the more support you need. So if we have a hard time receiving support, or if we're stuck in the over giving, then a lot of times it will show up in the breasts. Just extra feedback.
That was one of hers too that came up. A statement that came up too was, I love when I allow others to show up for me because
Mm.
yes, because she struggles with that too, but there was just a whole bunch of stuff that went with everything. It was really cool. It was really amazing.
That's a really great affirmation. She's gonna notice a huge difference with that. You can feel it.
Yeah. And then, yep. And then she had like one other one that kind of went with everything else, and she will be back in 3 weeks.
Yay.
Yeah.
Oh, I love
But
it. Congratulations. That's exciting.
yeah. Yeah, it was a good one.
Oh, I love it. Sunny, do you want to share?
I do. I've been waiting to share, but I love listening. So thank you so much for sharing. One thing that I do want to say is I didn't get to be in the video last week, and I was really bummed because when I watched it, I was like, oh, this is exactly what I needed to be a part of, but I just missed it. So I'm super grateful for the rewind and for just the synchronicities that we all share in our lives. So if you could send the children codexes to me as well, Holly, I would love to have those. I felt like that's something I'm also super drawn to. And I picked a name out of my 10 list of names. I'm liking the business name Seeing Serene by Sunny. I'm really liking that. I feel like that's really what I want to be picturing for my business is just like creating a beautiful piece for life. Um, Also, this week during the money flow video, I had like all the pieces come together. I've been feeling like, how am I going to charge people for this? Like, this is something that is natural to me. So it's like something that should just be natural to them. Like, I do want to help heal the world and I want to help heal everybody. And as I watched that video, everything that you said was like, it almost like set a fire in me. I'm like, I should be charging because you're right. Like, people will take this more seriously. Like, it is an investment in themselves. And it really got me excited. It felt like it took the business aspect and just like lined the path straight forward. I was like, okay, there we go. Like, that's exactly what I needed this week to kind of give me that. This is what you're supposed to be doing. I love my little muggle job, but I definitely feel called to help people in all aspects of their lives. But I'm super excited to talk to you guys because I just had a virtual healing session with Melanie, and I was so nervous for doing it online, virtually. And when I tapped in to Melanie's energy, Melanie, I'm sure it's okay if I share, but I'm just going to ask one more time if it's okay. Okay. When I tapped in, I got an object attachment to Melanie, and it was telling me it is necessary to know what the object is. I was really stuck trying to depict the object. So I went through the book, I asked every single question, and there's one question that says, is it their body? And the answer was yes.
Mm.
And so I was very conflicted. I immediately almost like put up a wall. I'm like, how is an object attachment their own body? And so as soon as Melanie gave me the okay to stop, I was like, this is definitely something that I have for you, Holly. Like, how does that work together? I'm not able to piece it together in my brain.
Yeah. Well, and the object attachment with the body is extremely common. Usually it
Interesting.
happens when we have split, like ripped ourselves, like our mind, our body, and our spirit are not one. They're three separate beings. So we've disassociated from our body, and that means our body is now an object. And this happens a lot because society teaches us, especially women's body, are objects, objectification. How do I look? Especially when it comes to the areas of like sexual abuse or not wanting to be abused or not wanting people to look at us, we can create that association. But also when we are this high vibration spiritual being who's like, our body feels like it's a slow, rudimentary, 3D, lumpy bag of bones. And we can start to degrade our body. And again, both of those scenarios, we're looking at our body as an object, not our vessel that is one with us. So we start to have this attachment as our body is something else outside of ourselves. We are not our body. Then we imprint an emotion into the body. And every time we think of our body, every time we see ourselves in the mirror, every time our body isn't functioning the way we want, that emotion starts to activate. Just like with any object attachment, anytime you interact with the object, say, this object is my object attachment, and every time I connect with this, I feel sadness. My body becomes the object. So every time I interact with my body, I feel that sadness. Does that answer your question?
Oh, yeah, that hit the nail on the head.
So was the other question though, Sunny, because it wasn't Melanie, it was the piece of me. Is that where we got
Yeah,
hung?
that is true. I was asking, is it their body? Yes. And then Melanie said, is it a piece? And I said, is it a piece? Yes. Is it her head? Yes. Is it her arms? Yes. Yes. Legs? Yes. But is it Mel? No. It was like, it wasn't her. It was her body, and it was a piece of her. It was all of the pieces,
Was
but
it
it was
a
not giving me
piece
a
of
yes
the
when I
body,
asked,
or
is
was
it
the
Mel?
body seen as the piece? Like the body
Was
is
the
the
body
piece.
Mel?
Because when
I
you
was
ask if it's
asking,
Mel, Mel's soul is Mel. Mel's soul is Mel.
Yeah.
But
So
the
that's why I
body
got
would
a
be
no.
separate.
what about a piece of the consciousness?
Could be a piece of the consciousness if that resonates. The object attachment would be to a piece of the consciousness.
So when she was talking to me, a lot of it was resonating, the words, the emotions, and everything, but we couldn't find what the object was because I feel like she tapped into like a one of the outside. How did we talk about that, Sunny? Do you remember?
Yeah,
It's
like it was a different. Well, so I basically, after hearing Holly talk about it, I basically feel like to us in our virtual world where we're tapping in soul to soul, the body is the outside piece, right? That's the emotions that we're expressing, right? Are linked to the body. It is your body, it is my body, it is the body. But because we're in this world, the body is like the outside piece because our mind is so fragmented, right? There's a lot of different identities, different.
When we can specify physical
I
I
body,
guess
spiritual
what I
body.
was right. The thing that I think tripped us up is that it was lost, is what she also got. It was that it was lost. And so that's why I was thinking, can it be because I have pieces? So, and I had this very traumatic kind of thing happen that ignited all of the things that she was tapping into. And so I don't know, like, if it's a piece, a soul fragment, and it's that piece is what it's carrying from the body. I don't know if that's making sense.
The thought soul fragment did come to mind, so you might be on to something there. And a question to ask could be, is this a matter of like, because if the emotion's lost, then that's even more impactful, because if you think of your body, does your body feel whole and complete, or does it feel like something's missing? And that piece that isn't there could be the piece that's missing. And because it's missing, there's this feeling of, I've lost something. I can't get it back. This actually connects with the session I had last week, where the girl has been doing tons of work and she had a memory come up of her soul being fragmented. I'm going to really condense it down. I'm like, okay, we're going to simplify this a lot because it was a long conversation. But her soul had been fragmented, and she feels like she's been going and trying to retrieve all of these pieces. And some of the pieces, like she had lost family and connections and ties by losing those pieces. So she's trying to claim them all. And it was this huge piece about like letting go, because those pieces will still circulate, because energy is never created or never destroyed. It's literally recirculated and recreated and deconstructed. So I'm wondering if did it feel like it was a soul fragment piece, and that wholeness won't be there because this piece is missing. So every time you connect in with this body, you feel like something is lost that you can't gain back.
No.
I absolutely no.
Ah,
And maybe it's going into like a deeper realm than it needs to be. Maybe it is as simple as, that's funny. I just looked up, and my wallpaper that I have behind my screen has words, has poetry. And I look up and the word lost jumps out. So lost is correct. I'm going to have to say, I'm like, lost is there. It says not all who wander are lost. And I lost just went, brrr. So lost is correct.
it's on my
Yeah. Well, I didn't realize that it was on my wall of words that I look at for years. Usually I see love because it's right above my screen. So lost is the correct one. So an object attachment of feeling lost when associating or connecting with your body. So what did
that
yeah.
that kind of makes sense, because we were talking and I had a really huge trigger in Morocco involving sex and body and boundaries and things like that. And then when I try to speak the next day about it, then I met with anger. Do you know what I mean? And so there was this huge thing that happened. And on my part, I could see that my part was that I'm participating in things that the whole of me, that's not the experience I want to have anymore. And so the lost would make, I mean, and the words that she had of conflict, and what were those other words?
Yeah,
Conflict
it was
and
the emotions
forgotten.
were conflict, forgotten, and procrastination. And I
And so,
thought absolutes.
so it feels like it's connected to that thing, but we just weren't quite sure how to understand it, I
Yes.
guess.
Yes. Okay, so we're making it way too complicated. So yeah, whenever you connect with your body, you're going to have that emotion activate. So
Okay.
we can clear that.
Okay.
Because it
Okay.
imprinted the emotion in association with your body. And if it was tied in with conflict and sexuality and things like that, then that means anytime you're engaging with sexuality or there's that conflict that might come in, or when you do feel conflict, then you'll suddenly start to feel that emotion of loss, because it's like it gets imprinted onto the object. So your body got imprinted with the emotion.
Okay. That makes sense. Does that make sense to you, Sunny?
Yeah, and she keeps saying imprinted. Imprinted was because it asks for that emotion if it was attached or imprinted. Imprinted was like the definite answer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Another way to say it is like, oh, it was programmed. When I connect with body, remember this program, remember this emotion.
Mm. Okay.
So then we clear the attachment, we clear the emotion, and you can just connect with your body again. Yay!
Okay, well that sounds good. That sounds like something we definitely are ready to, if you're ready to clear it, I'm ready to clear
I'm
it.
ready to clear it.
I definitely
Just
needed
maybe
the clarity. Sorry, say
We'll
that
clear it
again.
right at the end or something if you
Yeah,
want.
that's perfect. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm like, you
But
can-
I was happy to do a virtual session. Thank you so much for giving me that time. And thank you for clarifying, Holly. I needed that. So
perfect
that's my
Yeah, and
It did
object
work out.
attachments are kind of tricky because sometimes you'll find the attachment and you won't be able to find what the object is. Like I know I had one client, it was like a lighter that belonged to a girlfriend that he didn't realize was still in his house. I'm like, it's black. I'm seeing a staircase. That's all I got, black and staircase, but this is the emotion. And then he goes home and he's like, well, I'm going to go look at my stairs. And he finds a lighter that actually was the ex-girlfriend's lighter. And he's like, oh, and he threw it away. And that was that. But there was still an attachment with it. Like anytime he would go to light something, because he had like a table there or something, and he would go to light like his candles, I'm guessing. I'm like, I don't know what he loved, a cigarette, candles. I don't know. I didn't ask. But anytime he would, then her energy and that emotion would come in, and then it was more likely that he would go down a spiral. So sometimes we don't find what the objects are, but we still can clear them. And then like later they might come up with it. Or they may just have forgotten because they interact with it all day long. Like the cabinet that I ripped out. I can tell you I had an object attachment with that cabinet because every time the door wouldn't close right, I would literally travel back to the moment where my lover at the time would say, "Oh, you deserve nice things, like a nice cabinet, and not this home that's always broken." And I was like, "Don't diss on my broken home. Like, I love this home. This is my creation." And like, how dare you? You know, and so, and then it was like, but I also, yeah, you're right. I do deserve this. And really, the answer would have been, well, go do this for me. You're living here for free. But that wasn't something he could offer. And so it made it clear for me to go and put in something I love and re-imprint it, and it's imprinted with something new. I had music playing and I was singing while I did it, and my family coming to help me. So now I've created a new imprint in that space. And then Rick has the same paint color, so now I can't look at it without thinking of Rick. So I just completely reprogrammed that whole object attachment. So it's kind of interesting that that's what we went to when our world speaks to us. Great. Anything else, Sunny?
Um, no, I'm getting more in the spirit for Christmas.
You're getting
And
what?
like you said, Rowena, like Rowena said, I'm just excited for the holidays. I'm getting that jolly feeling.
Mm, love it. Beautiful Yule. We're coming up on the solstice this weekend, which is nice because then we go back into receiving the light. It's the new moon tomorrow, which is a great time to do some of our final sheds. So it's just a really great time of letting go, too. Melanie, was there anything you would like to share? Morocco? I mean, other than the object attachment.
Um, no, it's good. It was nice to be able to practice do a virtual with Sunny. I've been wanting to, and so that was a good opportunity. And it was really interesting how synchronistic and fluid it was because I had an actual one scheduled that was live, but because everything that was going on around me, I rescheduled that right before she put the thing in the chat. And so it's just interesting how space opens up and we're supported and everything. I have not been able to watch the videos yet because I've not been around, but I've got my LLC set up. My husband did that for me with his accountant, and it's called Choose to Bloom. So anyway, so I have that done.
Love that,
and I
the
have a session.
choice.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So anyway, I don't think
Glad.
there's anything else.
Well, Morocco looked amazing. I loved seeing all the pictures and yeah. Actually, a few days ago, I watched a movie that took place in Morocco and I couldn't stop thinking about you. It's like about a writer's retreat. I don't remember what it's called, but I was like, oh, that's where Mel was. It was beautiful. Gladys, how are you? How's the family?
Good, good. Um, I have had a really terrible time sleeping this week. I don't know if it's like a mix of hormones and stress and life, and I've had sick kids, and the hubby hasn't been feeling super good. I also moved baby out of my room, and so there's been a little bit of, just the feels with that last baby moving out of my room. So my sleep has just not been super great. So it's catching up with me. But life is like very full right now. I've been working a lot of hours. But like I said, I love my job. Even if it is a muggle job, I do love my job and just learning how to bring my 5D energy into the 3D atmosphere. I have a session for tomorrow night. I'm very excited about that. So excited. Um, what else? There was something else in my mind and it just like, I've been watching more of the emotion videos and I'm really loving them. Yeah. And I realized when I was listening to the anger video, like anger and rage, like it's like, oh, I need to sit with these a little bit more. Like re-listen and maybe tap into myself. Like I know that there's some things that are there. And I think there's some things that my son James has kind of probably taken on from me. Um, so yeah, listening to more emotion videos. Um, I'm still having trouble with the name. Um, so I've just kind of been sitting with that. I think last week Cindy suggested Align Perspectives. Um, and I like it, but it just doesn't feel like mine. So still sitting with the business name. Trying to think if there's anything. I have had a couple wonky dreams, like between not being able to sleep and then having a couple wonky dreams. Um, I haven't taken the Blue Lotus yet, though. Like I'm feeling like I'm saving that one for the new moon night.
I'm drinking that right now in my tea.
I love it.
So.
Yeah, it's just been a very full week. I'm very excited for my session tomorrow. Oh, I have been doing a ton of like reorganizing and cleaning and decluttering and just, yeah, moving energy out of the space, creating energy for the new, just the final shed. The final shed. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Yes. Oh, we're there. We're so close. So close to bringing in that horse energy.
Yes. Yes. I was gonna ask, is your daughter in Colorado City? Does she live in the apartments by the park?
Yep.
Nice. That is a beautiful space.
Their window
That park is
faces the park
amazing.
and the mountains. Like it's Wubba's just hangs
That's
out and
awesome.
stares out the window all day. And then he'll be like, "Where's Nana?" Because he saw my truck come by when I came. And so he's like, "Where's Nana?" all day long. "Where's Nana?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah."
Yeah. Yeah, that's a beautiful, beautiful spot in town. And that park is so much fun.
Yeah. They're like, "There's
So
like
that's
30
awesome.
people at the park most days." I'm like, "What? That's crazy. People go to the park?"
It is wildly warm here for this time of year too.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's good.
I think all over Utah is really warm right now. I think even Salt Lake is like, what's going on?
Mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I love it. Yeah, I told her that you were there. So I was like, "Hey, if you need anything, she's also at the
Hmm.
clinic." Yeah.
Yep, the clinic is like, what is it, a block? Like just right there.
Yeah. She's like, "We can
Uh,
walk to everything we possibly need," which is good because her
yeah.
car broke down when she was leaving. So her car's here.
Oh,
So she's
oh
like, without a
dang.
car, she's like, "But it's fine. I can walk to a grocery store. I can walk to the medical clinic. I can walk like anything I need, I can walk to." I'm like, okay.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. Fun. Well, what questions do you guys have? Anything else come up?
I started listening to the videos, those two videos you sent from Rick. So I'm going to do one of the meditations tonight. And the video about the money flow, really talk about synchronicity because I was thinking about my prices. I created an enlightened business Facebook page. So I need to go in this weekend and like put my services and my prices. So I was rethinking my prices. So that was really perfect right there. And then the one where you're the accountant, I don't remember her name.
Jamie.
Jamie was talking about write-offs. And I was like, oh, there's so many things that I had not thought about that could be written off for your businesses. And I was like, well, I need a really good accountant this next year because I'll have more things this year. And so I was thinking about it. And then I went to get my hair done. I think it was like Tuesday or Wednesday. And my hairdresser has been doing this for a while. I said, "Who's your accountant?" So she totally, because everybody around here seems to be they only brush the surface for write-offs. And I was like, I want someone like Jamie, who's really creative, but within the law, And so I asked her who, and so I found an accountant. He's an hour and a half away, but so worth it. So I'm gonna go that route. But that was like perfect timing because that is my goal for January is to fully take my business to the next level, like with the business page. And I need to write up my service descriptions more and pricing and like really have it all ready. So that going into the year of the horse, that's what my goal is.
And it's the perfect time too, because people will have just gone through the holidays, which are extra
Yeah.
activating of unhealed parts. And then it's the new year, so people are making resolutions and wanting to do better. It's like the prime time for people to be able to step into actually healing the thing that they've been avoiding forever. So perfect timing.
Yeah, last December and January were super busy for me because I use that time when I'm off break when the kids, when I have winter break. But it's amazing how many women, especially, need that self care with family, the stress, shopping, like all of that. And then after the holidays, too. So, my book's already looking pretty full. So I'm happy with that. But there was that other side, like what Sunny was talking about with pricing, what is my worth? What have I invested in myself for all of this too? Yeah.
Yeah.
That
And
was
then it
it.
also allows them to invest in themselves. Because, like I said in the
Yeah.
video, when I first started, I charged nothing. And then I started charging $10. Because I was like, well, like $10 an hour was the going rate back then. And I was like, so $10 an hour. And then when I started charging a significant amount, people actually listened to what I had to say. There was more respect for like the counsel that was given. Like, here's your affirmation. Do your affirmation. Oh, well, it's only $10. It's not a big deal. Oh, it was $200. Yeah, I'm doing everything she said. And then they would have better results because they took it more seriously. So there is that piece that we don't just charge for ourselves, but we charge for the person as well. So
I was also thinking that, like, so I offer foot zoning and then Reiki, and then with the perspectives, it's like if they're really invested in working with the negative perspective part, they will pay it. If it's not really what they want to do, then they'll pick something else that they want to do. So I thought about that part too.
yeah,
It'll bring the ones that really want to work on themselves too.
that are ready for it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's so exciting. Love it. What other questions or shares do you guys have? I'm like, we miss Cindy. I hope she's doing well. I'm sure she's busy with kiddo things. So I did just send those child codexes to the group text. Those are just a few of them. That's the level 4 Sun Quantum. So it's not the full version, but those were the ones that had popped in for your son, Gladys. So yeah, they just gaze at them. They don't necessarily need to draw them, but just looking at them, or they can choose to color and copy them if they want, if they have an active mind that doesn't like to just sit and gaze. But yeah, those are the codes for children. So
He loves to draw and like look at pictures and draw. So when you said that, I was like, oh yes, that's perfect for him.
yeah,
He'll
because
love that.
they're like color coded. And really what they are is, I talked about the rainbow where you have all the rainbow colors and the prisms, and then you grayscale it, and then you make it into a solid line. They're like a solid line into a pinpoint. So that's what he's accessing. So yeah.
Cool.
But they're really fun ones, I think. That frequency is like very intense, but also really healing. You use the codes a little bit differently than you would with the others, where you could draw them on the body or you draw them in the air, or you place them in parts. With these ones, you view it and it allows you to go there, but by going there, you're actually going in to get there. It's a very backwards 3D way to explain it, but you go in to get there. You go through you to get there. And so it activates within, mostly because it connects in with the iris. And the iris of the eye creates neurons in the brain and helps us to travel. Very condensed, but yeah. That's the frequency that I'm actually taking with me when I travel in the next 2 weeks. And I'm just really going to go into it again and just dive super, super deep into it. So, yay. It'll be fun.
Awesome.
And that will be available at some point for you guys. So, I'm diving into it to see if it's something I want to do virtual or if I want to save it for the continued education. The other ones are nice to have in person for continued education, but I think this one might be more beneficial virtually. Or like, together with like a big projected screen, which if you're going to do that, you might as well do it virtually and then you can pause it and sit with each of the symbols. Because I noticed that some of the symbols I sit with for a very long time and have all these downloads, and then I need to stop and go right, and then I come back. So it's a really fascinating one. Yeah. Hey, anything else? Any other shares?
I'm sad that we don't have class like meet up for the next 2 weeks, but I'm also very excited for your travels and the holidays.
Yay. Yes.
It's my daughter's birthday on Christmas Eve,
Mm.
so we get to have lots of fun. We've already got birthday fun planned and Christmas fun planned, so
No, I
she's
love
turning
that.
12.
That's a big birthday.
It is. It is a big birthday. It's like, oh my gosh. Last year before you're like a teen, but then you're also kind of a teen. It's like a bittersweet, yeah, time.
Oh, yeah. Understood
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah. And it's just really been taking me back to, when I was 12. And I don't know, lately it has felt like a mirror. Like when I look at here, it's like a mirror, and I've like had to catch myself. Like, oh my goodness, okay. And today I said something that sounded just like my mom yelling at me when I was her age. And then I stopped and I was like, oh my gosh, this moment. Yeah, I've had to backtrack lately and be like, okay, I'm sorry. I need to take responsibility for that. So, yeah, it is a big number, but I'm also very excited.
I love when we get to have those moments where it shows us the healing, the circuits, right? Like,
Yeah,
oh, let's short that circuit. We're not going to continue doing that. And I
yep,
always had to tell myself, it's not what you do, it's what you do after what you've done that counts.
yeah.
You're doing that. Hmm, I love that. Oh, so good. Well, definitely still check in and feel free to like video in because I know that all of us love the FaceTime face to face. So if you want to just drop in a video and just say hello throughout the next couple weeks, I think that would be really good to stay connected. And you guys are always so good about supporting each other. I don't know. I haven't looked at the itinerary. My sister, she made this itinerary. It's like slideshows and it has pictures and I haven't even like I went click, 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 and I didn't even like really look at it or the dates. But so I don't know where I'll be or what I'll be doing. So, but she's got it planned. So, yeah, as I have service, I'm here, but still reach out. If it's a minute till I get to you, it's a minute till I get to you. But I should, after a couple days, have some sort of service. So, yeah, excited to see what the land's going to teach me because I haven't been. So, and we're not going to I mean, we're going to some of the sacred sites, but not the ones that I would have expected. So we'll see. Oh, cool. Okay. Well,
I have one.
oh
I
yes.
have one quick question.
Oh, I love your kitty. Just like she looked like a statue right there. Yeah.
The opening of the four directions. I'm not doing drum ceremonies. Is there like a time or when I should be using that, or I could be using that, or
That is mostly for like group ceremony space, but I use it literally every morning and every night.
Okay.
So for me personally, I open up and I ask the grandmothers to walk with me throughout the day. If you wanted to use it just when you do a session, because like, okay, you're with me for school, but now we're here and we're in a session, you can open it before they come into the room and you can go through and just open up the space for healing. And then
Okay.
just make sure
I
you
see.
close it. Otherwise, they will be like bugging you.
Okay.
I've had a few instances where I forgot to close and it's like, oh, I got to go back and close. Hours later, oh, that's why. Oops. So,
Okay. Good to know. All right. Thank you.
yeah, anytime you feel like you need that extra support, a lot of times I'll even do it extra when I'm feeling like extra sluggish or extra emotional, and I'm like my full charge doesn't feel like it's there. So, what I'm doing is I'm calling in support to help and hold me and carry me through it so that I can still offer and give, but I have that support. Just like the breast, like we talked about, full circle. The more I give, sometimes I need extra support. And so it's like, oh, come in and hold me up. I shouldn't do this when I say that. Or I should. But yeah, just that when you feel like you need an extra boost of support, you can always do it. And sometimes I like lay in my bed and I just do it in my head, right before I fall asleep. And just like, I just need to feel extra nourishment right now. For me, it's a way to connect in with that mother energy. Not everybody's like that, but for me it is because I don't have a physical mom that can just hold me and tell me everything's going to be okay. And so if I'm feeling those moments of like, I'm not sure everything's going to be okay, I'll call in the four directions and I go through them and I connect with each one of them and remind myself that support is still there, even if it's not physical. And it does make a huge difference, I feel like. Yeah. Anything else? It's a really good question.
Rowena's question kind of brought up something for me. Um, I've I feel like my intuitional senses are more like sensing, like feeling in the body. Maybe I'm having a hard time describing it, but I would love to be more like seeing and more connected to my guides. Like I don't see my guides most of the time. I'm like, are they even there? Do they even exist? So like, what would be your suggestion or way to kind of foster that relationship and also open up those seeing gifts?
Hmm.
I get a
Um,
lot of sensation, like when I was reading Melanie's messages, when she was sending us all um, the beautiful white light that night. Like as I was reading her messages and breathing, like I could feel the sensation in my third eye. Um, but even when I'm like closing my eyes and meditating, like even going through a guided meditation, I like sense more colors than I do images. Yeah.
we'll start with the colors and like what the color represents and how that connects. I would say right now, really focus on honing in the senses and getting that super, super clear and unquestionable, because that way, when you do start to open up seeing, it will start to come in naturally. So for me, I'm not a seer. I don't identify as a seer. Rick is. So that's why I'm like, oh, but as I have sessions, it usually depends on the person I'm working with. If I'm working with someone who is a high level of seer, that's usually when I'm going to see colors. That's when I'm going to see somebody step in. But mine didn't open until years after in session. Suddenly they started popping in. Like when I got really confident so that I didn't even have to think about what I was sensing, it was automatic. Then it opened up the space for a new level to come in. Sometimes when we're trying to do multiples at the same time, we get kind of muddled. And also, those of us who are highly sensitive and shut it off at some point, we need to build that trust and that rapport that we know without a doubt this is what it is. There's no question. Even if the person on the other side is like, that's not really resonating, we still don't question ourselves. And when you're at that point, then you'll most likely feel safe enough, unconsciously, of course, that you'll start to open those up. That's the answer I feel right now. I know that's not the fun answer. Although it's interesting because I wasn't going to say anything, but Rick and I discussed this morning having a practitioner only training surrounded by that. So,
Mm.
like an actual deep dive into that specifically because his gift is the medium. He calls in, he sees. He always sees first. He doesn't feel, he doesn't sense, he doesn't hear, he sees. So it's interesting because I get the other senses, but he gets that one. And we actually, in our meeting this morning, we had talked about opening up a deeper training for that. So
I do see a lot of like, I'll see like flickers in my peripheral, or things out of the corner of my eye, but it's never like that strong, like in my mind's eye, like image, I guess. I have felt like things move in, like, and I'll usually feel them pretty strongly on my left side or my right side, mostly my right side. Um, and I've had moments where I've had, people step into a session and just kind of tapped into who I felt like it was. And the message was so strong that I got emotional and couldn't help but share the message. So I'm like, I'm
yes.
just rolling with this right now. I guess maybe, like you said, stop doubting yourself and just as I strengthen that, I spent a lot of years shoving that side of me down. And so learning to trust that again.
And it's important that we recognize that we see differently. So, when I talk to Rick about what he sees physical objects, like as if somebody were sitting in front of him. He sees that way. For me, I build what I'm sensing into a visual. So, there's an example you can do where if you close your eyes, everybody close your eyes. We'll just do this for fun. Close your eyes. Okay, so I want you to envision a table and then a rabbit on the table. And then the rabbit's wearing a hat. Got it? Okay, now open your eyes. Now, who saw the rabbit? Who built the rabbit? Said, oh, there's a rabbit. A rabbit would look like this.
Yeah.
Who saw a rabbit and a whole background with a sky and a beach and a forest or a giant picture and the rabbit's tap dancing? What color was the rabbit's tie? What color was the rabbit's petticoat? Was he wearing a petticoat? Or was it just a bunny rabbit? Was it a cartoon? Was it realistic? So share, what did you guys see?
I saw like the rabbit with the hat, like for a magician.
But you saw it
Magician
as
kind
it's
of
looking
came to
at
mind
the
to me.
picture.
Yeah, and then it went like in layers. Yeah.
Anybody else?
I tend to build the visual. It's like, and it's not even something I do consciously. It's like, how do I feel it looks? If that makes
It does.
sense. So yeah, I never see a lot of colors or anything like that, but I'll know what's happening. And so then it's like, it's more I'm filling with my eyes. I don't, I don't know how to say
Yes,
that.
yes. That makes total sense. Sunny?
Yeah, I don't see anything or do this all the time with people because I don't see an apple behind my eye. I don't see a table or a rabbit. I see hardwood. I feel that it's hard, and then I know it's soft. The rabbit is soft, but I didn't like envision anything. It's just black, and then I just know there's a hard table with the fuzzy
You
rabbit
know
on
it's
top of
there.
it.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's a lot of words. A lot of the times when I'm trying to imagine things, it's more like words just keep on building up the picture. Like 4 legs, wooden table,
Mhm.
gray rabbit. Did I
And
see
so-
it? No.
Gladys, what about you? What'd you see?
At first it was just the table and it was like black behind the table and then there was a rabbit on the table and then all of a sudden the hat appeared and there was floppy ears through the hat and then yeah.
Yeah. So some
So
of us
I built the image in my mind's
built the
eye,
image.
I guess.
will
Yeah.
see it. I was having this conversation with one of my kids yesterday. Well, anyways, whatever day this week it was when I was with them. She was talking about something, and I was like, Kate, you can't say that. Well, it's just dark humor. I'm like, I know, but when you say these dark humor things, you describe something, instantly an image comes into my mind, and then I see that thing. It's like, well, it's not real. I'm like, my brain doesn't know it because it's creating a visual on based on the words you're saying. So one of the ways that we had like this huge conversation, I'm like, and she thinks it's so funny to like to describe these morbid things watching me like freak out, and I'm like, this isn't okay. We're setting a boundary and I'm leaving now. And I did. And it was all playful, and I'm like, I'm not mad. I'm just exiting because I don't want to see that, because anything you say, I will literally have an image pop up in my head. And I'm still building it, even though that image is popping up, but it can be created based on anything I hear or am told or see. So very similar to Sunny when you mentioned the words. When I went through this and it was like, okay, there's a table, there's a rabbit. It's like I build table, rabbit, hat, what else? And I didn't even think about a background. Meanwhile, Rick's like, oh, here's a whole view, and I see it physically, and it's colorful, and there's a scene, and there's details all around, and it's this whole vision. And, we get told a lot of times, especially in society and like medium, if you can really see spirit, if you could see these things, then you're gifted. And so there is this comparison with gifts, but we all process it differently. And there's a reason for that, because it's like the colors of the rainbow. It makes a grander picture. It helps us to all see differently, because sometimes you'd see something and you still have to interpret it. But if you have the words, you know the words to say to interpret what you're seeing, and they're just dancing together. And so that's one of the things that I like to do, just to like remind myself that I don't always see that way as visual. But another thing that happens when we're seeing things is beings and spirit sometimes likes to hide in the obvious places. So like, we've all probably had that moment where you think somebody's standing there and you turn on the light and it's not somebody, it's like the three objects together form to look like a person. But sometimes that is your attention drawn there, and that knowing that there's somebody there, and then seeing those objects, the objects tell you to shut it off. But really, there probably was something there. And that's one thing when I've done the ghost hunts with Rick, that's one thing I found, is that if you think something's there, it probably is. And then your brain tries to reason and logic it, which is why when we start opening up our seeing gifts, we see in the peripheral first, because you're not focused on it. And as soon as you look, it changes, right? So in the peripheral, you can see that. I've had experiences where I've had like orbs pop in the middle of a session. So the key to really hone and start practicing with it is when it happens, literally write down like, oh, I saw purple orbs when we were looking at this negative perspective. And I'll write purple orbs. I'll write like, oh, there was this sludgy thing that was like dripping out of the wall on the side in the peripheral. And it can be seen as my imagination. But I'm like, no, there's something to that, but I don't know what it is. So I'm just going to write black sludge. And as we continue, sure enough, the black sludge is now relevant for something that comes through. Or when they ask who their guides are, then that's when I tap in and an image will build in my mind. And I can say, oh, your guide looks like this. Your guide looks like that. Now, who do my guides look like? They don't look like anything, because they don't look 3D. Like, well, except for like the loved ones that have passed away, they look like themselves. But my guide, like I don't have a name for my guides. I don't see them that way. And every time I do have a meditation where I go and meet my spirit guides, they always look different. And they're just showing me whatever emotion and energy they're bringing to me that I will connect with. So there's basically saying, you need to connect with this. There was one that I had somebody at my home many years ago, and they're like, oh, there's a ghost that just walked through here. And then we go upstairs, we're like, oh my gosh, that's the ghost. I'm like, well, that's my grandpa and he's still alive. But his dad is 3 generations back and looks like him too. So could it be that? And so then I explored that a little bit, and I'm like, oh, well, maybe it was him, maybe it wasn't. But that connection of the hat he was wearing and the suspenders that he had and that vintagey feeling connected me in with some family stuff that I'd been working on. So sometimes they'll show up in different forms so that we understand a concept. Did you have a chance to do the meeting your spirit guide meditation that I sent?
Was that the one from Rick?
Yeah, it was one of the ones. Because there's the
I
one on
didn't have a
discernment.
chance to do that one.
That might open
Yeah.
up some things for you, because it's a
Okay.
visual meditation where you go in and then you arrive and there's somebody there. And maybe play with that and see what comes of it. and nothing may come up of it. And then a few months later, you may do it again and something really big might come. That's what happened for me. And I was like, oh, I just got this huge download that explains everything about my character and my nature that I couldn't explain. And I'd already done it before. So sometimes it's just a matter of getting us in a state where we're open to actually receiving that without resisting it. So, but understanding the way you see is going to be different right now, but it may not be that way forever. But the more you try and force it and say, no, open a vision, the more likely you are to have things that aren't there for your healing and the healing of others to come through to open that because you're wanting to see something rather than this is actually the way to get the most clarity, have the correct words, and to be able to speak it. If I see like orbs and little spinny things around people, then I just say, oh, I see this color. I see this orb. I see this spinny thing. And then you can start going into, well, what is that? Is that a connection? Is that just energy moving around them because whatever we hit on is intense? Is it something external coming in? Like if we're clearing hooks and entity attachments and maybe there's something there. Is it a loved one that's standing there, but I can't see their full form? Like you can go through and ask those questions with your other gifts that you feel very confident in so that you can start to open that up and trust it. Does that help?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
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 And stay
does. Thank
tuned
you.
because in a few months, Rick and I will be doing something really fun.
I think that would be awesome. I was just wondering, watching his stuff, and he was talking about the boxes that you guys had done. I was like, I
Yeah.
wonder when they're going to do another one. So I would love that. That would be
Yeah,
amazing.
I'm like, I miss the boxes. We thought about doing one for like Christmas time, but we're both in such a softness state that that would create more busyness. So we didn't. But actually, we've talked for 4 or 5 years about doing an accredited school and having it actually be a mystery school where you can have people who it's their life's work that are coming to teach in many modalities. So yeah. I mean, we've talked about it. We've met with people for accreditation before. And his muggle job is now not so fun. His gifts are shifting, and so it's like, oh, it's time that we do this then. So, yeah. So yeah, stay tuned. It'll be really fun because we don't do anything unless it's fun. I'm like, it has to be fun for both of us. That way we don't care if there's a profit or not. We'll do it just because we love to do it. So, but he was asking me this morning, he's like, I find that one of my best gifts is like having conversations and answering questions rather than just doing generic tarot reading. Because he's really amazing at his tarot readings, but he's not doing readings anymore, at least for the time being. And I was like, you know what? Maybe we should just start doing some Q&As. Ooh, maybe we just have conversations with practitioners and you will get so many great questions and be such a gift. And so, yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun. So, yeah, stay tuned. Yeah, because he actually was told by Spirit that in January he was supposed to birth something. So, so yeah, we get to have birthed something together, which he's mentioned it. He's done trainings for the practitioners before, but it would be something that was more consistent and ongoing and no subject off limits. And we would do it together so that if there was an area that one of us wasn't proficient in, the other one is, because we're very yin and yang. So it'll be really fun. So stay tuned. You guys will be the first to know, I'm sure. With softness and ease. So yeah, that's what we'll do with our open space time now. All right. Well, we will wrap up then, unless there's anything else.
Yeah, I mean, since we're talking about birthing stuff, when does your body work happen? Is that immediately after this finishes or for the bodywork course?
It's
Is
the
that when you already
continued
have?
it's the continued education. So that one's an in-person.
Okay.
So
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
So that'll be one of the in-person ones because in order to learn the body and the nerve work, we need touch. So
Yeah. I need to be there. So
Yay.
that's on my plan.
Come play. Yes. I'll keep
Did
you
you
posted.
Did I miss that from the beginning of the call last week? What is that?
The body work?
Yeah.
It's the body work that I do. So with because there's many other areas of healing that you guys aren't learning because you're learning sacred perspective healing technique. But what we do is we do continued education. So we'll do virtual events and in-person events for practitioners only. So we have one in Bali those first few days. Mel's coming. So I grab and I pull, and it depends on the group. Like if everybody has already learned body work, then obviously I'm not going to teach body work. If everybody wants to learn body work, then I will. So I'll send out a survey once a year and I just say, here are the things, list your priority of what you want to learn, and then I do the events based on that. So it's all of the sun quantum levels eventually come through that way. But then sometimes people will miss a level and then they come to another one. So then I've started doing virtual ones or outside ones. So that's why some are virtual and some are in person only. But yeah, it's basically all the things like we're making kettle drums and we have like the drum facilitator training that's coming. So yeah, it's all coming. So I send the notice, and then like if you're able to make it to one of them, when it gets closer in date, then I'm able to know like based on who's coming because we have 60 practitioners. So it's like some people know some things, some people don't, some people want to revisit. And so I just kind of customize it for those that are coming so they'll get the most value out of it. And then we also have open time where if there's something people need to learn, like we've had people say, I would really love to learn how to make images in Canva. So everybody brings a laptop, and as part of the training for that continued education, we go through Canva and we go through the virtual process. So it's anything you feel like you need to learn is offered in those times, but it's all people who've already been through the main practitioner courses. So we're not starting at the base, we're starting with that as the baseline rather than teaching concepts that are harder to understand without having this foundation. So yeah. And it's nice because then you get to see what a blended family it is, and everybody had such different experiences, and it's just beautiful. So yeah, the body work, it's called neuromuscular release technique. So that is taught through the continued education. So, and actually my mentor for that, we've been discussing him joining in Bali as well to teach it there. So then both of us are teaching it. So there you go.
Okay.
If you want to come to Bali, that would be a really great time. So, but yeah, learning the body work is really great. And that's where you learn the points in the body. So yeah, I mean, I try and teach what I can virtually, but some things like you have to be able to feel where the nerves are and show that you know where that nerve is in order to be proficient in it. That'll be fun. Yeah. All the things. And any other new modality that I choose to find or that other practitioners choose to share, we do those as well. One of the last ones we made gourd drums, the thunder drums. So we made those. Yeah, and then we just go deeper into any areas that need support. So yeah. The continued education, the practitioner trainings and the continued education are actually my favorites. Like they just light me up because we can go as deep as we want and there's no limit. I don't have to like withhold anything. And so it's nice to just dive into as much as we can handle. So plus there's clearings and sessions and resets and all of that too. So I am looking at doing, if you guys are interested in doing the drum facilitator, I've been looking at squeezing one in before March and possibly just doing it at my home because then the cost is like $1,000 less per person because it's just here at my house. And so I may be doing that in February if you guys are interested in that.
That's at the top of my list.
Yes.
Next
I've
to
had
the
a lot of
body release one.
I've had a lot of requests for it. So I just have to be in a space where we can navigate it. And so the drum making portion, definitely I love doing at my house because I have all of the tools and I have extra rawhide and we learn how to process them in April. But then working with them, making the drums. And then there's the drum ceremony facilitation where we learn the deeper levels of sound and group sessions. And that one's really great, especially if you're an SPHT practitioner because then I show you how to incorporate both rather than here's the drum ceremony. Okay, but don't do this piece, but now do this piece. So it's easier on me to just have everybody who's already been through that. So, yeah. So usually I rent out a big old space and we all just stay, which we can do. But I've had some feedback from a few of the practitioners that like, you know what, we just want it. If we need to sleep on an air mattress in your house and we can save $1,000, that'd be great. And I'm like, well, I now have an empty house, so we can. It's not a big house, but it's a cottage, and we can do it. So, and then, or even have, you know, people get like an Airbnb nearby. There's plenty of places to stay. So you guys will get an announcement on that when it's officially announced.
Yay.
So,
And however I can
It's
be
a
of
long
support for that, let me know, Holly.
thanks. Yeah. I at first I was like, no, it needs to be like professional and retreat style. And I'm like, actually, we're a family. It should feel like we're a family. And that feels better to me, is it feels like a family. So, yeah, it'll be great. And this space that I'm at is just so magical that like we've done most of the drum facilitator trainings have been done here in St. George. And I was going to do one in Salt Lake, which I'm still waiting to hear back on dates and prices. Because Janet at Sacred Energy has a retreat center, but she's like, I only want education. I don't want events. I want education. And I'm like, well, I have education. So, but it's been a few weeks and she still hasn't got back. So I'm like, I think that means I'm not supposed to do it there. So, yeah. So we may just do it here where it's a little warmer. Yeah. I'll update you. But yeah, all that comes into play, and then you get to learn a lot more of the process of making the drums. But then some people don't want to do drum makings. They want to do drum ceremonies, and they want to utilize the drums and work with the sound healing, and we learn bowls and tuning forks and all those things. But they don't want to actually facilitate the making. So that's why I'll either put one and then the other back to back so you can do both, or I'll split them and have them two separate. It feels easier to do it back to back. So it can be one trip, but you can choose into only half. So, but most people want to at least learn how to make them, even if they don't. So, and then other people are like, I don't understand why anybody wouldn't just make drums all day, every day. And I'm like,
Yeah.
it's not for everybody.
I think
love
that
it.
sounds incredible. Yeah. That sounds awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll keep you posted. There's one planned for like, I'm trying to solidify February. And then the next one would be in the spring. So I'm also doing a bonus one where we're going to actually process the rawhide. So straight from flesh off the animal into rawhide. So that's going to be fun and smelly, but it's not my favorite to do. But it is beautiful when we have somebody who has a deer or an animal that they are nourished with, for them to make a drum out of one that they harvested rather than throwing the hide away is really beautiful. So we'll be going through that too. So yeah, lots of fun things. My schedule is going to be so full with magical things.
Whee!
Whee! Yes. Oh, I'm actually legit excited. It is exciting.
Yes.
It's just a
Yes.
matter of like letting things line up into 3D timelines. So cool. Okay. Anything else before we say goodnight?
Quick question.
Yes.
When everybody logs off, can Sunny and I just do our clearing really quick? Because I'm feeling that
Can
I've
I
been
just
sitting
say
with
one?
it
Yes.
because it's mine, and so I'm
I was going
starting
to
to,
recommend that.
if
So I'm
that's
going
okay.
to stop the recording